this is Matt, and in this video I want to cover the importance of staying on the latest version of your files all throughout the design process. Abstract is well known for its version control and file management. Many teams rely on Abstract to ensure that designers are all working off the latest version. We've even made some pretty epic videos that illustrate the problems that some teams face. I'll post a link in the description below. But working off the latest version of a file, it's bigger than just a design issue. Understanding what version of your file's feedback is being given on is absolutely critical in understanding the context in which it was given. When it comes to developer handoff, we often refer to the process as if it's a one-time event, but in reality it's much more of a loop, and being tied to the proper version is absolutely critical. I want to unpack that in this video today. First, let's look at version control in the context of feedback and collaboration. If you haven't yet checked out my video on collections, I'd recommend that you do so now, because that's where this all starts. So let's imagine that we're in a place on a project where we're ready for feedback on 3 or 4 artboards out of 10 or 20 that are in this sketch file. We could create a new sketch file with just the 3 or 4 artboards that we want feedback on. We could sync those externally, upload them to Dropbox, email off some PNGs, but that does create a couple of key problems. First off, now you have 2 files to maintain, which means that you're duplicating your work and potentially introducing errors. Even if you manage to keep both files up to date, you're still faced with the task of correlating all the feedback from multiple versions and somehow keeping track of which feedback goes with which version. The point is, it's really difficult. With Abstract, this is a breeze. I just select the artboards from the sketch file that I want to get feedback on and create a collection. So here we are inside of Abstract. I've got a couple different files, sketch files in here, and I'm going to just select these 3 artboards, and I want to give feedback on these. So I'm going to add them to a collection. Again, there's a whole video on this, but I can give it a title, I can add a description, I can set these to auto update, ensuring that they're always going to be up to date with any new changes that are tied to that. But it makes it really easy. If we come in here, we take a look at this page, and we can see that we've got some feedback in here already. We've asked Trey to add an image here. If we had feedback that was tied to previous versions, it's going to go ahead and gray that out. Right, so let's go ahead and annotate here. But you can see now that Abstract keeps track of the version, all the comments, everything that's happening, and it keeps that up to date and makes it really easy to see the feedback here as it ties and relates to the version. If we have questions about what's changed from the last version, all we have to do is click compare. Here we have 2 versions of the same file side by side. We've got the latest version of the file on the right, the previous version on the left. So we can compare these 2 side by side. If we're unsure about some of the differences here, we do give you the ability to do an overlay or a differential view. So Abstract puts these 2 on top of one another and highlights the differences between the 2, which makes it really easy to highlight the changes between the different versions. Now I'd like to shift our conversation to version control as it relates to developer handoff. As previously mentioned, this is a loop, it's not a one-time event, and we need a workflow that can allow design to iterate as the design evolves. Again, we could do a similar workflow as previously described. We could take the 5 artboards that are ready for development, save them as a new file, upload them to our handoff tool. But what happens when changes need to be made? How do you account for change when you have multiple files, multiple versions, not to mention handling files that are fully designed but maybe just waiting for copy to be written or approved? In Abstract, that's really easy. We can create placeholder text like you can see here, and this is linked to our sketch file. So when those changes are approved or the copy is written, this will be updated and we can move on, but allows teams to truly work asynchronously. If there's questions, we just flip back over here to the comment and we can leave a comment, we can annotate it, leave our feedback, we can flip back over and continue with our work. When copy gets approved and added, the file is updated, which gives teams the flexibility to truly design asynchronously. Design is rapidly evolving, and designers need tools that are evolving with them. Thank you so much for joining me today as we've looked at how Abstract brings value to teams staying in sync with the right files throughout their design process.